in this video, I just want to give a really quick introduction to a principle of breathing rather than a specific practice. And this is something that I think a lot of people are familiar with if they read books like Breath by James Nevster or kind of explored the breathwork space already, but it's just the idea of how the inhale is a more sympathetic dominant activity. So when we're, frightened or threatened in a really quick scenario, we're gonna, and the same thing when we're relaxing or easing down a little bit, we're gonna, and so it's just that yin and that yang, that balance between the upregulation of the inhale, that sympathetic, and then the exhale, that parasympathetic, that downregulating, and knowing how you can leverage both in just about any activity you do. For example, when you're lifting weights or exercising or running, some ways that you can balance the two is obviously you have to inhale, you got to get your breath in there, but there's two ways you can do that. The nose is going to be more parasympathetic even on the inhale versus a mouth, right? So like if you're immediately threatened, it's through your mouth. You're trying to suck in as much air as fast as you can. So that's really going to upregulate as quick as possible. Whereas slow and controlled through the nose is a little bit more of this, like, I just want to be balanced, in and out, yin and yang. So you're going for a balance as much as you can. And sometimes that balance needs to be shifted up or down depending on how you want to match your nervous system state with the activity that you're doing. So if you're really worked up and you're trying to chill out and watch TV, you should think about elongating your exhales, down regulating, slow and controlled through the nose. And then on the other end, if you're trying to get yourself ramped up to do some exercise, some physical activity, to go into a social scenario and you're feeling a little bogged down, really think about that inhale and maybe do some strong inhales. And how that has applied to me in my physical practices around training is I try and do strong breaths through the mouth because that's really going to upregulate, but then I need really strong exhales through the mouth as well to downregulate. And sometimes through the nose if I'm really feeling like it's a lower exertion, but if I'm pushing heavy weight, I'm going to exhale heavy through my mouth and try and think about that as a counterbalance to keep my parasympathetic system in check, right? So that I'm not so ramped up, I'm trying so hard that I just blow a gasket and I can't keep going. So this idea of balancing the two becomes more intuitive when you don't think about it so strictly. So I'm finding that the less structure I build around it, the more I can just come into it with this playful attitude. So I was just stretching and I was really straining into it and I was pushing hard and I was getting a deep stretch, and then I was like, oh, I'm being really sympathetic right now. I'm really trying to work myself into the ground. And so I started slowing down and elongating my exhales, and I just sank a little bit deeper and I relaxed into it, and I felt some of the release that I was trying to fight my way through. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways you could take this, and I guess I don't have like an eloquent closing point, but just play with your breath. Think about the in, the out, the nose, the mouth, and how those all have different natures to them. Some are going to pick you up and push you a little bit higher with your energy, and some are going to bring you back down. So the more you can go on your own mindfulness journey and identify those moments when you're aware of the breath and you want to change your engagement slightly, give it a try. It's just fun to play with it.